1 year after the October 7th terror attack, and 101 hostages still remain in captivity. Among them, Guy Gilboa-Dallal, who was taken captive by Hamas from the Nova Music Festival. Joining us today is Dallal, Guy's father. Thank you so much for joining us. So it's been 1 year since the day that Guy was kidnapped. What is your feeling today, on this day, 1 year later, that Guy is still being held hostage in Gaza?
Well, for us, the families, the whole last year was one ongoing, never-ending nightmare. We just live in constant fear all the time to get the phone call with bad message. And we know that Guy is in the tunnels right now as I speak, in a dark tunnel with no food, water, clear air, sunshine. We saw the footage of the tunnels where the 6 hostages were murdered, and likely the other hostages are in the same condition. And it's very, very, very hard to think about it and to know that someone you love is being held in such bad condition and there is nothing you can do to help him.
And when was the last time that you heard any news about Guy, had any indication of his well-being?
The last time was about a month before the last rescue of the 4 hostages from Gaza. We got a sign of life, but I don't know what it means because they didn't tell us exactly what this sign of life means. They just say that he's alive. So we know that he was alive about 5 months ago, and a month later, the IDF rescued 4 hostages from Gaza. And since then, the intelligence told us that all the hostages were brought back down to the tunnels, and since then we get nothing. We have no news.
And you mentioned Guy's older brother, Gal. From what I understand, they were both at the Nova Festival that day. Gal managed to escape. Can you walk us through that day, what you've learned from that day and of Guy's abduction?
Yes, Guy went to 3 of his best friends, childhood friends. They were together from the kindergarten, and they grew up together in all these years, and they went together to the music festival. My older son, Gal, was not supposed to be there at all because he was in another party of a friend that is going to get married. And about 5 o'clock in the morning, he called his brother and he told him that it's very fun there and he should come. And the guy arrived to the music festival at 6 o'clock in the morning. At about 6:15, they both took a selfie of themselves in the festival, smiling and having the best time of their lives. And 15 minutes later, hell began there and missiles started to fly over their heads. They came in different cars, so they both walked to the cars to come home. They ended up in this dead traffic jam in the exit from the music festival, where the terrorists started to shoot everybody and kill them in the cars. And there was a great panic started there. And they got out of their cars and ran to different directions. And Gal, my older son, he escaped and ran for over 10 hours, 10 horrible hours in the fields, seeing atrocities around him, and eventually was rescued by Israeli security forces to the closest police station, and from there we took him home. Guy did not have this luck. He and his friends probably ran to the other side, and and since then we didn't hear from him because we didn't have any contact with him because maybe he lost his phone or something. At about 11:30, at the same October 7, Hamas released the footage, the first video of hostages already inside Gaza, in a dark room, handcuffs, frightened and in shock. And the terrorist is moving on around them with a flashlight and asking them to say something. This is how we learned that guy is it was a hostage and is in Gaza. And in this time, Gal was already in the fields, so I didn't tell him anything about his brother until he got back home. And when he heard that, it was quite a shock.
Imaginable story. And Ilan, today, 1 year later, if you could send a message to Guy, if you could tell him something today, what would you tell him?
I would just tell him to stay strong, to hang in there, because I know that it's very, very, very hard to live in this condition. But I know he's a strong young man, and I believe in him, and I'm confident that soon enough we'll be together and we'll hug him and we'll love him so much and miss him so much, and everybody is waiting for him. And don't break your spirit. Just hang in there. Be strong. We love you.
Ilan, thank you so much for joining us today. Our thoughts are with your family, with Guy, with the rest of the hostages, and we pray for their safe return. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.